This is Raj Soren, Black Belt Mindset and Business Coach, and we have Beverley McPherson. So we're very privileged to have her on the show today. So Beverley, tell us a bit about yourself and the type of work you do and how you deliver to the world.
About myself, originally I lived in Dubai for about 20 odd years, and then moving back to the UK, I felt I wanted to give something back. And based on my background of working in admin and having to stand up to people, I realized that a lot of women, including myself, don't know how to set boundaries. So because I had to learn to set boundaries myself, I realized that there's a market for it, very niche market, but it's there. And so I set out to teach women how to set boundaries and how to value and manage their time more efficiently.
So setting boundaries is very important for women. So tell me a bit more about the work you did.
When I was working abroad, I was managing an office, and there was only a few females, but being in a situation where most of the people in the office were male meant that I had to be able to stand up and say no to these men and not be intimidated. So that sort of pushed me in the direction of realizing that a lot of us, we say no to things, and if we do say no, we justify the no. But if we say yes, we just say it and there's no question. So it's a way of being able to say no and not feel the need to justify your no, and being comfortable with saying no without any guilt, which for myself, I never used to say no because I felt guilty and I didn't want anybody to be upset with me. And then it ended up that I was the one who was upset, not them.
That's interesting. Using the word no is sometimes very difficult for people because we like to please people. We keep on saying yes, but then we end up with a whole load of things to do, big pile of list of actions, and we're burdened down. So how do we learn to say no?
It's not easy. Believe me, it is not easy. And you have to be prepared. If you do say no, you will get a lot of pushback from people who actually expect you to say yes. And it's about trying to maintain that I'm saying no. And if they push you for an answer, is what I teach my client is to have an answer, a response to them asking you, well, why aren't you doing it? For instance, you may decide you don't want to go to a certain party. And to say, no, I don't want to go to this party, you feel that you're going to be letting the other person down. I always say something like, you've got previous engagement, it's on a work night or a school night, or you don't feel comfortable attending. But most people tend to use the one, I've got previous engagement, or I'll get back to you, which I actually used to say, I'll get back to you on this, because that way you're not lying, but you're not committing to attending either. So I usually say, tell them you'll get back to them on it, and then get back once you've formulated your response of how you want to respond to them.
That's a good way of doing it. So you're not letting them down straight away, but you're giving your time to think about how to best word it or come up with a reason to do it.
Yes.
So I like that. I like that approach, because some people say that if we keep on saying yes, we're telling the other person how to behave.
Yes, exactly. You keep saying yes. What happens is they keep coming to you, and you keep saying yes, and you'll finally one day you'll hear them say something like, "Oh, Beverley will do it," or "Sharon will do it," or "John will do it," and you realize you weren't asked. They just assumed you would do it, and then you're in a position now of, do you say something? Do you not say something? How do you feel? Are you angry? Are you comfortable with it? Do you want to say something? What do you say? You've put yourself in a situation that you don't want to be in, and now you've got to try and get out of it.
You tend to work mainly with women, is that correct?
It's mainly with women, but I've had a few men approach me, and somebody actually said to me that I should have it for men as well, because a lot of men would feel more comfortable speaking to a woman about something like this than speaking to a man. So that's something I'm looking at doing, opening it up to men as well.
Interesting. So what's on women's minds, or when you speak to ladies like this? What's their concerns?
Their concern is how they will be perceived if they say no. They've been taught from little girls to be accommodating, like be a good girl. If somebody asks you to do something, say yes. Basically brought up to give, but not being told that they can take. But it's not a negative take, it's a positive take, because you're taking for yourself. So
yes,
the women will come to me like, I've had women putting boundaries in with their children, with partners, with colleagues, with their bosses. It's like how to respond. And so it's like, for instance, with the children, I would say, well, what do you tell them? And they say, I tell them not to do this, and they just walk off, or they're just rude. I said, then you need to find their currency. What do they value? And take it away. Tell them if it's not, if they don't do it, find their currency and take their currency away. If it's their mobile phone, if you don't do as you're told, I'm taking the phone. And follow through and take the phone. Don't just say, I'm taking the phone and not take the phone.
You have to have the discussion about boundaries, because not everyone does that, do they?
No, they don't. So that's another thing. If someone's used to just asking or telling and they're getting, when they don't get, then there is a problem. So you going in, you lay your boundaries out from the start. What you will do, what you won't do. For instance, where I am, I'll say, if you speak to me like that, I'm going to disengage from the conversation. And if they do it again, I walk away. So they know in future, don't speak to me like that, because if you do, I will not speak to you. And I disengage. So sometimes it could appear to be rude that you walk away, but if you've stated that this is what you're going to do, then that's what you should do. Because if you don't follow through, nobody will take your boundaries seriously.
That's true. So what about relationships? Being in a new relationship versus a long-term relationships. So what can you tell me about boundaries with a new relationship initially?
Well, there's a lady, she started a new relationship with someone. And she was saying she didn't know what to do. So I said, what do you want from the relationship? She goes, well, I don't want to be a girlfriend. I don't want to be a long-term girlfriend. I want to be a wife. I'm not into things. Because at her age, she says she doesn't want to be going from, but she's not in her 20s. And she doesn't want to be going from man to man and trying to find a boyfriend. So I basically said to her, tell him what you want, tell him what you expect, and tell him if he doesn't want the same things as you, he should end the relationship now. And that's what she told him. And at the moment, they're going okay. But she told him up front that she's looking for a husband. And I would do the exact same thing. If it was me and I met someone, it's a husband. I'm not looking for a boyfriend. I'm not looking for a living partner. It's exactly, you state what you expect from the relationship. If you expect to be taken out for dinner once a week, say you expect to be taken out for dinner. You like to go dancing, tell them what you like. And find out what they like, and then take it from there.
It's like the rules of engagement.
Yes, it's the funny thing, but it is now, because like when we're in our 20s, you can, you're thinking, I've got the time. But when you start hitting your 50s and your 60s, it's like, I don't have that time to be giggling and thing. I need to know what I want. In your 50s and 60s, we should know what we want. And we should not be afraid to say exactly what we want. Then if the person cannot meet us where we want to be, then you part as friends, or you stay together as friends. It's like, it's not the be all and end all of a relationship if it doesn't work out. But I don't think that at our age, we should be just blindly going into something, and we should state what we want. I've done it. I've stated what I wanted, and it worked for a while. Then it didn't. So it's. Yeah. I think we need to be honest with ourselves.
Yeah, we live and learn. So let's talk about long-term relationships. Yeah, long-term relationships. There's already some boundaries in place, but it may not be a happy relationship. How do you sort of help that situation where you have to realign the boundaries, and it's sometimes not easy?
It's not easy in a relationship that's long-term. The thing you can, if it's the husband, then he needs to sit down. And the thing is, it has to be unemotional. The conversation has to be unemotional. It's got to be logical. So you may have to go over it in your head a few times to make sure that what you say is conducive. It does not allow it to descend into an argument. Emotions in that kind of discussion, emotions have to be taken out of it. It's an emotional time, and it can be emotionally charged, but emotions do need to be taken out. And when one is speaking, the other one has to listen. They have to listen and be prepared to respond in an unemotional manner. It has to be a factual conversation, I believe. That's what I believe. It has to be a factual. It cannot be an emotional one, because it will just descend into an argument. And you said I'm this, and you said I'm this, and I'm not like this. And you can take it, instead of it being a constructive discussion, it can become very negative and just put more pressure on the relationship. But the thing is, whoever's talking has to be listened to. It's that, and then be prepared to meet each other halfway or whatever and do the work that's necessary, or else it just becomes bitter, and then you just become two people living together as flatmates instead of long-term partners. You just become people sharing the same space.
So how important is it to support each other's needs?
It's very important to support each other's needs. It's not that you depend 100% on this person, but you need to be aware that you're together in a long-term relationship. You should be supporting each other. If the person is wrong, then you can still support them, but explain to them that how you feel, and be there for them. If it suddenly falls apart, be there to help them. But I think in long-term relationships, there has to be some give and take, and there has to be some support. There has to be, because there's no point being with someone who's not going to support you.
Interesting, because communication seems to be a big thing these days, because in some relationships, they're apart a lot of time. They're both working, maybe working during the day, evenings, and not seeing much of each other. There's sometimes arguments about money, which is, can be very unpleasant. So tell me about those situations.
Yeah, when you are working, when you're both in full-time work, I think it's harder to keep that connection going, because you're coming home, you're tired, you're eating, you're going to bed. And intimacy can go because you're tired. So I always say, in situations like that, make time to go away. You actually have to plan to go, because you most likely can't go on the spur of the moment, because you're both working, you're both busy. But I think you need to consciously make a decision that you're going to take some time and go away. I'm single, probably because of the way I am, but even though I'm single, I still make time to step out, step off the world, and go and take a day or so, hang out with friends, go by myself, go for a walk. It's very important that you make time for each other. It could even be just going down the road and having a coffee together, sitting and having a coffee, but take quality time to be with each other. You have to, and that's where you get to talk, find out what's going on in each other's lives, what's happening at work, and there is no stress, especially if you can go off together for a few days and you just spend that time reconnecting. Communication is extremely important, Very important. And there's no point one speaking and the other one not speaking. You've both got to communicate. It's important.
Yeah, I mean, cost of living has gone up. People are getting very stressed out these days. How do we cope with that and reduce our stresses and communicate better?
For myself, when I get stressed, I like to walk. So I get my hiking boots on, my poles, and I go out into Castleton, Peak District, and I walk. A few weeks ago, I was out there with my sister, and I'm a grown woman, and I have never dropped a stick in the water and watched it go and then run across the bridge to see it come out the other side. And I did that. And my sister was like, she was laughing, but the joy I got just from dropping that stick in and then running across and looking for it coming out the other side, it was a very emotional moment. And I think sometimes we think we need money to do things, but it's not always necessary. All that cost me was a drive up to it was petrol, and I had I spent 3 hours walking, sat down at the end of it and had an ice cream with my sister, and it was one of the best days I'd had for a while. And it was just petrol and an ice cream cone.
Yeah, buying an ice cream and throwing a stick in the river, just like being Winnie the Pooh, isn't it?
Yeah, and it was very childlike thing to do, but it gave me great pleasure. It gave me great pleasure. I think sometimes we look for pleasure to be in the big things, getting on a plane, going on holiday. Those are very good. They are important. But sometimes there's little simple things you can do that will put a smile on your face.
Yes, it's a simple thing in life.
It is. Sitting in my garden, hanging out with.
Yeah. Can you tell me a bit about your are you qualified in certain things, or is it by lived experience that you've gained this knowledge?
It's lived experience. It's lived experience, going through my own journey, having coaching, and just literally sitting down and talking to myself. What do you want, Bev? Are you prepared to live your life like this? Do you want to spend the next, till the day you die being as miserable as sin? And asking myself honest questions and giving myself honest answers. And looking at the situations I'd found myself in, how had I managed to get myself in those situations? And then realizing that I'd got myself into those situations because I never opened my mouth. I just,
indeed,
I didn't feel I had the authority to speak for myself. I didn't think it was my right to speak for myself, that if I was told to do something, I should do it. And I should be happy to do it. And don't rock the boat. Make sure everything's happy. Make sure friends are happy, family's happy, kids are happy. And it was like, but I wasn't happy. And
I see.
Coming through at the other end, I've realized that the reason I wasn't happy is because I didn't set boundaries and I didn't speak up. So now I set boundaries and I speak up.
Brilliant. So what type of clients do you work with? How do people get hold of you? Do you have a website?
Actually, the website is under construction. So hopefully that will be done in a couple of weeks. Actually, it's not done yet because it's my fault. I've been busy doing other things. But I'm definitely available through LinkedIn, Beverley A. McPherson, because there's a few of us few Beverley McPhersons on there, but I'm Beverley A. McPherson. And so you can drop me a DM through there and I'll get back to you. And I try to be up there quite regularly, posting and reading. But at the moment, just through LinkedIn. But once my website is up and at them, it'll be there. And the website will be called Boundaries and More. Because once you set your boundaries, you get a lot more.
Fabulous. Well, we'll share those details in this YouTube video. It's been a real pleasure to have some time with you, Beverley. And is there any last parting words for the viewers?
Last parting words is value your time and value who you are, and don't allow anyone to disrespect you. That's
Brilliant
my parting words.
Thank you, Beverley. And it's been a real pleasure. And keep on changing people's lives out there and setting boundaries and making a difference.
I do.
Take care, and we'll see you soon.
Okay, thank you. Bye.